Where are we going? North.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Therapeutic benefit in role-playing games.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, baby. Your presence requested in exchange for treasures.
Are we talking one treasure each?
Count that.
Welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons. It's time to start our next cartoon, Detective Toilets. Slow, ominous strings play with pronounced bass and tuba. We see the silhouettes of 4 toilets atop a building at nightfall. A lightning bolt strikes, and we see a flash of the toilets, each wearing distinctive crime-fighting uniforms, before doing front flips from the rooftop. The music suddenly gets intense and unsettling. A gothic monk choir joins in, chanting the notes, along with the toilets swinging their bodies around, as if they're locked in combat. We see stereotypical criminals with black and white stripes and masks on getting smacked around. A full-on war breaks out in the streets, with guns firing, with the toilets dodging everything, before one calls in their blimp for backup, which drops a bomb labeled Deuce. After the explosion, we see the criminals scattered about unconscious, and the toilets standing triumphant. A bass voice says, "They're sick of you." And then we zoom in on one of the toilets, which flushes, and the swirling water encompasses the screen. So at this point, we distribute the toilet sheets. I think everybody already picked their toilet, so we have Detective Kohler, Detective Mericana, Detective Gerber, and Detective Toto. So this show, the series name, Detective Toilets, the tagline is, "They're sick of your crap." In the near future, crime takes a turn for the worst in Crescent Cheek City. From the dump and sewage arrive 4 unexpected heroes to clean it up. Toilets, who are also detectives. This cartoon has edge and action in a noir setting, with bathroom puns ready to break the grim parallels to our world. So the genre is sci-fi. The twist, the heroes are literally toilets. The tech level is like little into the future cyberpunk. The series goal, clean up this dump. The main antagonist is mad scientist tyrant Reinhold Plunger. The gimmick is bathroom puns. The primary setting is Earth. There is also a love interest between them named Veronica Bidet, who is French and is a double agent on double duty. So for our heroic playset, the heroes operate out of some sort of futuristic police precinct. And the villainous playset is Reinhold Plunger's hideout. It's a laboratory deep in a convoluted sewer system that's akin to the Minotaur's maze on Crete. And his main quote is, "The only way to take over the world is to unclog this corrupt system."
Oh, man.
And at the bottom left of like the character or the cartoon sheets, there's like the PC guideline. So it says like the star power of these characters is 3. And that's typically where you're going to be. Like 4 in our last cartoon is, definitely like maximum tier. Like there's usually like one villain whose like star power is 4, and then all the heroes are 3. So like with Thundercats, like Mumra is like a 4. Like all the Thundercats have to fight him together, and all the Thundercats are 3.
So you're saying our last characters were more powerful than the Thundercats?
Yes. So for other rules, there in the book there are so many like special rule options, and then you can create your own. We're not doing any of that. Just the special rule here is that all of you toilets can interact with things as if it's like mage hands. Like you have an invisible hand that's up to a foot from your body that grasps objects and is like the source of like punches. The tier is human. So like the max any of the rolls are going to be, like the bonuses, is going to be 4 rather than 12 in our cosmic tier like last cartoon. So the dials, the seriousness obviously is 1. This is full on like goofy, even though it's like noir crime fighting, like it's encouraged to constantly make bathroom jokes. The realism is also a 1. Like you're just expected to go along with things that happen, like the toilets interacting with things. Like it makes no sense.
Is the rest of the world normal?
Yeah, it's like human beings.
Okay, so I assume our precinct is like toilet accessible, or like do we like hop upstairs? I mean,
like you can hop up the stairs. take the elevator, like whatever you want to do. But yeah, like everyone else in the police precinct like is a human being with like maybe some like cyberpunk tech built in. And then like you randomly have Veronica Bidet, who like is a bidet, and Reinhold Plunger, who is a plunger. But then like
that was my next question: if they were the items they were named after, if they were just humans, ironically named after toilet items.
Oh yeah, so like the human, I got a list of miscellaneous human characters. We got the captain is Seymour Butts. You got Lieutenant Barry Schmelly. We got Hammond Eggs, Gingivitis, Marshmallow, Vinegar. These are all just like people around like the police precinct. So if like as we go along too, like we need NPCs, like please chime in with more names like that. Oh, violence, maximum violence. And the continuity is a 1. So whatever happens, like there's like very little continuity. Like characters introduced like might be around, but like what's happening episode to episode, like it doesn't matter. Like you're foiling some sort of crime somewhere and everyone's gonna forget about it the next day. So that's the show. And let's get into it. The show opens with Act 1 with a chemical lab full of multicolored liquids and beakers and flasks. The color scheme otherwise is noir, dark. And we have a plunger in a white lab coat, and it pulls up goggles. This plunger doesn't have arms or anything. You're just kind of like, it's got randomly goggles, and they like are pulled up. He begins laughing while saying, "At last, I've done it!" before ultimately wildly cackling, which echoes as we scroll up to the sky. The scene descends from above onto a police precinct before going inside to an open room full of detectives at desks. The captain, Seymour Butts, leaves his corner office and shouts at the toilets to get in there ASAP. Entering into the office, he tells the toilets to sit down, which nothing happens. And then he says, "All right, good."
So he says sit down. I put my seat down.
Yes. Then he says, "Now I've kept a lid on this, but it's only a matter of time before this drops. Take a peek at this security footage and tell me if something stinks." His desk opens up into a screen and he pushes a button on his forearm. The video begins with high-tech looking SUVs coming out of nowhere on a bank in the middle of the night. Masked goons in suits, and by that I mean like dress suits, run out with Tommy guns towards the bank out of sight of the street camera. They come running back out, firing behind them without the money before a rocket comes from the direction of the bank and blows up their cars. We see the silhouette of a toilet through the fiery light. Then the hard-to-see toilet launches into the air with a grappling gun, but also with several money bags. The captain presses the button on his forearm again, and the screen closes. Well, and I will then shift that to you, the players.
Well, that is certainly something. Which one of you crapheads did this?
You can't trust those low-quality toilets, you know what I mean? They go rogue. Sometimes they clog, sometimes they rob banks.
Toto, Mericana, anything to say about this?
I don't like it one bit, boss.
It's pronounced Maricana. I'll have
Maricana?
Maricana.
Maricana?
Yeah, I spit like chewing tobacco onto the floor, but it's really just like bits of diarrhea.
He looks down. It's just like on the ground, and he looks back at you, but it's like par for the course for the show, so he like doesn't do anything.
For the last time, Toto. We have spittoons for that.
Hey, it's our Americana. Just can't help it.
So at this point, the captain kind of looks around at you all, and he believes that one of you has gone bad. He's not going to issue like a warrant or arrest anyone, but you're the only toilets. So he's like, it's got, I mean, as logic, following logic that use one of you. So you quickly are able to identify that the goons that were robbing the bank belong to the villain Doodoo Face. And that is your first lead. The captain also says that there were several reports of other robberies through the night, and there were reports of a single toilet at the scene of these robberies. And so he's giving you the opportunity to figure out amongst yourselves which one of you has gone bad, which one of you stinks.
Vales, looks like we got an imposter on our hands.
Pretty sure it's Kohler.
Don't be looking at me. I think it's time we get to the scene of the crime here and do some checking out, see what we can flush out.
Yes, we can flush out. So the scene transitions will constantly be just like a swirling toilet, like zoomed in, like you like swirl in, like swirl out. Yep, yeah, flushing sounds. So the four of you roll up to the bank in the toilet mobile. And
the wheels are toilet paper rolls?
Yes.
Yes.
That's beautiful. So yeah, toilet paper rolls on
and instead of tire tracks, it's just lines of toilet paper.
Yeah, it's just like infinite toilet paper like wide behind you, so you're just like constantly like leaving toilet paper through the streets.
It's all biodegradable though, so it's very environmentally safe.
Yes. Yeah, it's
It
like
actually has like seeds inside of it, so when we inevitably go off-road, we're also planting trees.
yes, yeah. It'll be like quick like PSAs about like, you know, like be friendly to the environment, like don't waste water and paper.
It's very bio-friendly. Yeah, Toto's definitely fixed up the Deuce Mobile with, you know, some different functionality to make things a little easier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like please like feel free as like the tech guy to like randomly make up stuff like the toilet mobile would have that's toilet related. So you roll up to the scene. It's the middle of the day.
Is the sorry, what kind of business was this again? I'm sorry.
A bank.
A bank. Okay. Is there anybody working at the bank, like a teller, or anybody that's there that was there at the scene of the crime? Or well, is anybody there?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's like active. There are like customers going in and out. There are
Okay.
employees there. So like you walk right in and you see like the employees kind of like gasping and like looking around nervously at like the sight of you.
So I'm going to. I'm assuming.
I told you it was Kohler. He steps in and everybody gasps.
I'm assuming we're all probably walking as part of like a group. So I'm going to walk up to one of the tellers and be like, "Good day to you, sir. I would like to speak with the bank manager."
Yes. One moment. And they're like kind of like backing up, like keeping their eyes on you, and then like quickly slip into a back room.
I make sure to like flash my like the lid of the toilet opens and you see my badge.
Nice. Yeah.
And that way, yeah. So I flash the badge real quick and close it. That way, you know, they know I'm an officer, detective.
So the bank manager comes out. It's Amanda Hug and Kiss. Yes. How may I help you, detective?
Good day, ma'am. We're here to talk to you a little bit about what happened here last night. Can you give us a little bit of any more detail of what might have occurred here last night?
Well, we were robbed by a toilet. We've been a little weary. We called the police and they said that it was okay for now that you're here already. And seeing your badge, I guess I know that lines up. But all of the footage was expertly removed. We have pretty advanced systems, so somebody with technical knowledge certainly would have been the one to erase it.
Or at this point, Americana will just kind of burst in. It's like, well, maybe it was an inside job.
Actually, let's make a check here. Let's make a check to look at Amanda, since you're all detectives. You know, like let's assess the employees, and let's all like do whatever check you think is relevant for just clues, assessing the people.
So I would like to say that my highest stat, convincing undercover, could be used because I would be able to point out telltale signs of somebody who is acting like they belong instead of somebody who belongs.
Yep. And then I'm just kind of looking forward to interrogating people here. If I had I don't know if I have like, obviously I don't have knuckles, so I just like the lid sort of twists, it just goes
and like Brat's knuckles like up here, just like floating like right next to the lid on like each side.
I'm going to use my calming presence to try and calm all of the tellers, the bank manager, as they are obviously a little weary because we're all toilets, and hey, that's who robbed them. So that is that landed on a weird spot. Let me roll that. That is a 5 on the die. Calming presence is a 3. So is that an 8?
Yep. Yeah. So you roll an 8 for calming presence. And yeah, like kind of like the way you showed your badge and like the tone of your voice. And you know, like
we're here to help. We're here to help.
Yeah, like your invisible hands are like as if they're like actually motioning to people, like, you know, like, it's all right, like,
it's okay,
we're on your side, which is effective. Like you see that like some people are, you know, less nervous, and then kind of like looking around, like Mericana just like, you know, to look at the employees and stuff, you know, like gets up close to them.
Could I actually also combine that with my criminal contacts to see if I actually recognize anybody who's working?
Nice, okay.
So that is an 11 on the die. So the undercover is a 5 and the criminal contacts is a 3. So is that a 19?
Nice, yeah. So I'd given Mericana a 5 stat, where normally like human tier caps at 4, but like once in a while to show like the maximum for a show, you can like up it a little bit. With Mericana's backstory, he was just like years undercover with no contact, so
that,
you know, he's like the pinnacle of this. Yeah, yeah. So you look around and like you find one of the employees who was hiding in the back room. So just kind of like leaping over the counter, doing like a slide with like some water splashing out, and like so now I'm imagining like the top part has like a cowboy hat. So it just like stays perfectly in place.
Image like the top of Mericana's top and like top lid just like get interchangeable depending on exactly what disguise he's dealing with at any given point.
Yes.
So right now it's like a wide brim cowboy hat because he also has like the detective trench coat over the toilet tank. Yes. Which is now waving behind as he's like doing all of these acrobatics through the bank.
And you like bust into the back room and you find which one. There is in fact a criminal plant who is hiding in the back. And you wave in Detective Gerber, who's just itching to interrogate somebody. He comes in to join you, and he's flexing his
Detective
his knuckles.
Gerber, I think I found our man.
So
and Toto, what are you doing during this?
Toto's checking out the locations of security cameras. You know, he's checking out all the wiring and stuff and seeing if there's any, you know, how old the technology is, where the cameras are pointed, you know, figuring out where the wires lead back to, that kind of stuff. So if
Nice.
I could somehow get a glimpse into the control room, maybe where the security cameras are posted, you know, maybe I can make some headway there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they'll like let you right into like where those controls are too. So yeah, you like investigate the wiring. So let's do your, I think it was your tech roll is your highest anyway. Yeah, I mean, I for clues is for Swiss Army upgrades is for. So I mean, I think you could realistically.
Yeah, I was gonna say like skilled mechanic and eye for clues or something like that. It's like a linked roll of some kind. So let me throw up a roll here. So I got a 3 on the roll, and then do I add both of them? How does that work again?
So if you do linking, you figure out the primary stat, and then you add a flat bonus depending on the tier of the second stat. So where they would be human tier, you would add flat +1.
Gotcha, okay. So yeah, so I would do skill mechanic as primary, and then eye for clues is the secondary. So I need the tier of eye for clues. So what's the tier of 4?
That's human tier.
It's human tier, so that's just a 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I do 3 + 1 plus my roll?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I rolled a 3, so that'd be a 7.
Okay, so like you look at like the wiring and stuff, like it's all new, like latest and greatest technology. You do see that like the cameras were initially like moved, like they were like purposefully pointed in like the wrong direction. Like you see that just like the way like things were forcibly moved around, and now they're like reset in place, but like the way like the wires and metal is bent, it was like as if it was bent away last night. And going into like the back technical room, you do see that somebody very clearly accessed the footage. And you do find that there is toilet water on the ground in the security room. So while that's going on, at this point we'll move back to the criminal plant, who Mericana knows is a goon of Doodoo Face. And so Doodoo Face is known as Doodoo Face because he had a horrible accident where now half of his face looks like Doodoo.
Before the accident, he was known as Butthead.
Before the accident, he was known as Butthead. And so you see that, yeah, he's an insider, like one of his goons, and you go to begin interrogating him. So at this point, we'll have Gerber roll his check there, which I believe is also can use good cop and bad cop is one of his traits. I feel like that's probably appropriate here.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll roll. That's a 12, so it's a 16. And can I add?
So that's a boon. Yeah. So you add double your star power, which would be in another 6.
So before I start, I'm just gonna go 1 or 2. 1 or 2. You flush up. There's nothing to worry about. It's just piss. We leave it there. We flush it number 2. We get rid of you. We don't clog. You disgust me.
So with your massive good cop and bad cop roll, you basically have free reign to do what you want to him and also take whatever information he has. So he chooses one. He's going to just go ahead and squeal. So ask away.
Is it a toilet too, or is it a person?
Oh, it's a person. Yeah, no, you guys are the only known toilets.
All right. Can I get you anything to drink? Febreze? Anything? Oh, right. We're the only ones to drink Febreze. Okay. Never mind. Forgot about that. You can drink some water out of here. It's clean. You know, many people don't realize that. You can drink it. You need some water.
You're offering to like drink out of like your top.
Yeah.
So he's like he just wants to please you. So like the fact that you're offering, he like thinks that he's supposed to. So he's like going in, is like, oh, okay, and he starts kind of like drinking out of like the top.
Good, refreshing. Okay.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
All right. So tell me, when did you start working for that disgusting, ugly, hideous Doodoo Face? Tell me when this started.
I've been working for Doodoo Face for years. I lined up with him, and I've done my studying and whatnot to get a job here, and he's had me as an inside man for the past year now, and we've been planning this heist for a while when things went awry.
Yeah, like a clogged toilet. Am I right?
Yeah, it was. We were really blocked up from doing what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, what else? What other events do you have planned?
Our future events, we're trying to recover it was one of you. One of you took out a bunch of our guys outside the bank last night with a rocket launcher.
So I'm just gonna like slide forward and slap him with my entire toilet body. Like, don't you dare insinuate that one of my colleagues here robbed.
So he goes flying back like over the table, like lands like on the table on his back, and then backflips like over to the other side after you smack him. And then he's like, oh, and he gets back up.
So Marika just kind of steps up next to him and opens up his top lid. And he's like, you don't want to disrespect. You should take a drink out of mine, too.
So then he's like crawling, like barely picking himself back up, and he's like, all right. And he comes over and he sticks his face in.
And when his head is in, I just close the top in and just kind of like push him in, kind of putting his head underneath the water. And I'm just like, okay, now tell me why it's Kohler, or tell me it's Kohler, and tell me how he did this.
Oh! You just hear like the bubbles and stuff.
And then I'll flush so the water goes down for a little bit.
So he flushed. And he comes back up. He's got the swirly hair. It's just, and he's like, it was Kohler then. And
see, I told you, and I'll just throw him against the wall.
he slams into the back wall. My job was, I was to mess with the security cameras, and so that they wouldn't know that it was Doodoo Face. And I gave them the code. I gave them the code to access. But then Kohler was inside first when the rest of Doodoo Face's men showed up. They went to the back vault. It was already open, and he beat them back. They fired at him, and he blew them all up, and he blew up our vehicles. I guess that's how he did it. So Toto's inside, and he's like looking, and he kind of overhears like the guys getting slammed against the wall. He hears they already had the code, and hearing that, something clicks where he's looking through, and he sees that somebody actually hacked in to gain access to the vault, which is contradictory to them already having the code.
Well, something about what you said makes me a little skeptic.
So Toto knows that this is conflicting evidence because he overhears it, and the rest of the toilets don't know yet at this point that somebody hacked.
Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons.